Hey everyone, it's Hirsch Wilson, and today is Friday, January 7th. I just got off a FaceTime call with my granddaughter Fiona, who's 2, and we talked for about 10 minutes. It was wonderful. And when we hung up, I was struck by that eternal question of grandparents. How can I make the world a better place for her? How can I assure that she will have a vibrant and wonderful community to grow up and live in? Of course, the events of this year and this summer, and especially this week, have made that question more top of mind and more imperative, and that's what I want to talk about. But I want to start with a story. It was October 1962. I was 12 years old and the oldest of 6. I remember one morning standing on our porch with an AM transistor radio trying to tune in the news. I looked back through our porch window and I saw my mom doing the dishes and managing my sisters. But what was odd was I saw that she was crying. Or not really crying, but trying to hold back tears. And I got at that moment that she was afraid. And this was the Cuban Missile Crisis. Russian freighters were approaching Cuba with nuclear weapons. An American U-2 spy plane had just been shot down over Cuba, killing its pilot, Rudolf Anderson. Another U-2 spy plane had blundered into Russian airspace and put the Russians on full alert. And the Americans went to DEFCON 2, which is the highest alert status short of war. It was a terrifying time. Later on, Bobby Kennedy, in his book 13 Days, and the biographer of Khrushchev, the Russian prime minister, they both wrote that events were spiraling out of control. And that meant things were moving so fast, they did not think they could stop them. My dad was a volunteer with the Civil Defense Force, the CDF. And he rushed home one day, got his uniform, and went back into town. And his job was to help direct traffic out of Minneapolis in case of a nuclear attack. Spiraling out of control. What struck me then was that there was nothing we could do. Our fate was out of our hands. On Wednesday, January 6th, watching insurrectionists and terrorists storm through the Capitol at the urging of the United States President, well, I felt some of the same anxiety, that events were spiraling out of control. And all of this during the second worst pandemic so far that we've experienced as a nation. So ironically, last year I wrote this book about how to deal with tough times based on 33 years of being a firefighter. So over the last couple of days, I've been racking my brain about what are the best things to do, the best strategies to kind of keep myself calm, but keep myself focused on this time. Part of what I'm feeling is similar to the emotions that I've had after a bad call. There's anxiety, there's some sleeplessness, there's recursively going over and over and over the call. There's sadness and grief if there's been fatalities. And there's anger. There's often anger because some of the stuff we see could have been so easily prevented. In the quest to calm down, I have always said to myself, this is normal, this is how I respond to trauma, this too shall pass, I'll get over it. But right now, I'm not sure that I want to be calm. I don't think calming down is the right response for any of us. Right now, I think the right response is not to be anxious, but to be alert, to understand that we are inside of one of the biggest traumas short of war that has ever happened to our country. I think we have to grasp that this week we almost lost our democracy at the urging of an American president and his minions. We need to pay attention. Trump might be blessedly gone in a couple of weeks, but the division still remains. He simply took advantage, criminal advantage, of that division. A final story. One of the worst wildfires that ever happened to our country happened in Pine County, Minnesota in 1894. It's called the Hinckley Fire. And that fire burned over 500,000 acres. It destroyed the town of Hinckley and took almost 500 lives. Many people were never found. One of the fascinating and tragic stories of that fire were how some individuals responded to it in the beginning. They saw this flame front that was almost 4 miles wide and it was already throwing spot fires into the town. But they thought it could never, it'll go around us. It can never burn down an entire town. And by the time the fire got there, it was too late, and they were overwhelmed by the fire. I have to add here, because it's how I see the world, that after the fire, human angels descended from all over the state to help to rescue and to take care of the wounded. But the point is that this is not a time to be disengaged or to be apathetic. We need to see the spot fires that are happening. Wednesday, January 6th, was a spot fire. It was a warning. We can be sad and angry and frustrated, but we also need to take action now. We owe it to our children and to our grandchildren to give them the best possible world, the best possible America we can. So be brave, be kind, and fight fires.